Hello, hello, Trading Trail. All right, let's get right into it. I'm recording this a few days later, but regardless, this is going to be the Trading Trail recap, the series where I go ahead and review every single one of my trades for the year of 2025. We are on day 15 of the Trading Trail. Thank you guys for joining me here. And we're going to go ahead and get right into some of the amazing movement that we saw this day that was on January 24th, and we're going to go ahead and recap some of my trades that I was able to find. Now, at the same time, this was also a day where I was leading the charge in Sensei Trend Traders. So if you're looking to trade, make sure you check them out. Feel free to use my link in the description. Now, Sensei was actually out on vacation, and this entire week I have been trading on my own, and I'm happy to report this is the first entire green week of the year. Now, unfortunately, I am sitting today with a lot of FOMO in my system right now. There were plenty of opportunities to be massive green. I threw away an opportunity to have a few $1,000 of a winner today. But regardless, I'm just happy to be finishing the day green. I still have something to celebrate. First entire green week of the year for me. So regardless, I think this is a great step in improving. Now today I am sitting up $52.86, which is great. Here you can kind of see all the stocks that I traded. This one was just way too big with the irresponsible size, but I'm kind of go into some of the better trades that we saw today. Now, the previous day, on Trading Trail 14 on January 23rd, we had one stock that went up all the way like 800%. And normally, the day after that, you get a little bit more aggressive moves in the market. And that's exactly what we saw today. Exactly what we saw today. I wish I got a screenshot of it, but that pre market scanner was looking very amazing. Actually, this might be the same. Yeah, so right here we have ALUR that was up 340% on the day. It made a high of like 500% almost. ELAB, also some amazing moves. EVAX, also some amazing moves. And Jenny was actually the one to call out EVAX. I actually did not end up trading it, but this one was looking amazing for a breakthrough. 620, 643, break and hold of this area. 10 on the 5 catches up, and then boom, boom, boom. Move all the way straight up to $11. This one was textbook, also showing some room on some longer time frames. 5-minute chart looked great. So we traded it from 643, and 10.5 held up the entire time. So you could have been selling some shares all the way up here at $11. Fantastic trade. Now let's get right into the trade that we took at 7 in the morning. This one was ALUR. And I was sitting down to trade. Normally sit down to trade a little bit before 6:30, and I was noticing, and I was charting out ALUR. This one was about to make some very impressive, amazing moves. So let's go and highlight some of our support areas right here. We notice that if we get a break and hold of this VWAP here, we should start to stair step higher, and that's kind of exactly what happens here. All of these a series of higher lows and higher lows are great signs of a momentum. So right here, I have a downtrend placed from these lines right here. And I was thinking that if we can start to see a break and hold somewhere in this area, that's going to start signaling to bulls that this one's going to start setting up into 7 in the morning. So that's exactly why I decided to play aggressive and take this 770 break. 770 is taken right here, and I was thinking that if we get a really strong move, seeing a break and hold of this area, and then we should start to stair step up, and ideally we get a break and hold of the 770 area. Now, I was playing really aggressive this morning. I was thinking that this one was showing so much room to run. Like the daily chart was looking good. All of these longer time frames were lining up where I had extra confidence on ALUR. Now, let's go ahead and go through the mistake, because I made some silly mistakes that kind of costed me a massive green day. Now, on ALUR, this is the larger move that it made, but this is the bigger mistake. Man, oh man. So I was trading it very aggressively, and I wanted to build a position very quickly. And this is exactly what you don't really want to do. I get wicked out. On this 1 minute candle, we wick down like by 2 cents below the 50 EMA on the one, by like 2 cents. And I'm like, screw it, I have to get out. Because what I was kind of scared about was a 7 a.m. rejection going where 7 a.m. volume just dumps on us on this stock. That's not what happens. Now, hindsight, sure, I'm glad that I kept it tight, but I did miss out on a massive move. I really think that if I'm going to try and play that big, I need to kind of give the trade the breathing room that it deserves. Especially at this time in the morning, nothing else was setting up in a favorable way. Absolutely nothing was setting up for that 7 a.m. bull attention. Now, on this 1 minute chart, we really have to notice that as long as these 1 minute candles are holding above this downtrend, that's what's going to signify for that larger move and use this area basically as a jump pad. Now, in reality, price could definitely have come down to the 10 EMA on the 5. And I get wicked out by just a little bit, and that's what scared me away from this trade. I'm very kind of disappointed because I think I'm starting to put too much emphasis on this second downtrend. So like right here, we see that this one, oh my God, this one is the first, and then we see that this one is basically the second. I think I'm putting too much emphasis on the second downtrend, where I know that we can possibly start to make that larger move if price actually holds this area. So I think instead of adding another buy right there, that would have been a great opportunity to first take some initial profits off the table. If I took some initial profits off the table, and then that would have given me the added confidence to hold through this dip right here. So I think I'm having too many buys and playing too aggressive because this buy up here for the breakthrough this 810 area, just it doesn't really make sense. Now, in my kind of fear of missing out, because I was like, you know what, this is the 7 a.m. volume. Right at 7:01, volume spikes, and then boom, we get a rocket ship all the way up to $20 basically. So of course, right after I exit, I get FOMO, and then I get back in right here. And like this is one of those situations where it's like I'm glad that I got back in because I ended up, making the money back that from having this loss and from having another loss on the day as well, but it's like I'm playing with too large size and it's causing me to rotate through so many settled funds. So I really need to start sizing down. But the reason I tried to pyramid in really quickly here, let's be honest, this is very aggressive trading. Very aggressive trading. But regardless, the reason I wanted to pyramid in was, again, we had that a fantastic setup. And like normally I won't play this aggressive on a stock like this unless I kind of finally see that bigger picture. And I'm 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 kind of okay with me sizing into this one. Even if this one turned into like a minus $400 dollar loser or something like that, I think I would have been okay with it because the setup was there to make that larger move. What I'm not okay with is this way too aggressive ad and not giving the trade enough breathing room and cutting it literally 30 seconds too early, man. And like in this moment, I'm literally going through in my head. I'm like, you know what? 7 a.m. volume normally doesn't hit exactly at 7. Normally it hits at 7:01. So like as this candle is like about to fail the second downtrend and wick down below the 10 on the 5, I got scared out and I was the liquidity right here to make that larger move. Like I was the liquidity, especially with that larger position. Like I was a part of it. So I think I need to give the trades a little bit more breathing room. And when I start pyramiding into a position like this, I've got to recognize when I'm getting a little too crazy because that is what this buy is up here. That breakthrough 810, that's a profit taking area, not a buying area. I know I need to be taking profits into a known resistance. Another buy opportunity would have been on the support test, testing support down here. Yeah, very upsetting. Very upsetting. Now, I am very happy because I was like calling this out to the team. I'm very happy that a lot of the team members were able to make some money on this one. Unfortunately, like I threw away a few $1,000s and just burnt through settled funds, and I didn't have the confidence to actually stick with my original trade because I was like, you know what, as long as this area holds, and that area exactly held. Like I had all of these lines drawn beforehand, and that area exactly held on the candle closes. I got scared on the candle wick. Now cutting it quick can also prevent some bigger losses because like I would have been even more upset with myself if I ended up holding through this and like, if the candle ended up closing down there, you know? Yeah. Very 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 difficult to kind of trade that one. Now, regardless, the setup was absolutely there because we have an obvious break and hold. I'm just very upset that I got wicked out right there. Very upset. Now, I think going forward, like, let's go ahead and write down some of the things that I did wrong here. Pyramided in too quick. Let's see, what do we want to call this? Added too quick. I'm okay with taking that larger position size. Like I truly am because like even if it started to break below that 10.5, as long as I don't hold it below that 10.5, like risking $500 to make like 2 grand, like this was a potential 2 grand winner for me with how much of a position I was taking. So I'm not necessarily upset with that by any means by taking that larger position. But what I am upset with is this additional add up here, which meant that I needed to keep it tighter down here. If I took a little bit more profit off the table, if I took a little bit of profit off the table, I'm adding for this explosive move through 810. Yeah, that would have been much better execution because when I see it's holding. So added too quick, and I'm going to make this a note. I need to pay attention to the hold, not the break of the downtrends. Because like the thought process behind all of these different downtrends here are for me to try and land the pop off of the support of it holding that second time. Whereas that also means that I get aggressive on that third and, you know, uh, third, fourth, whatever downtrend as price is extending from that support. So I'm adding to the position when it's extending when I should be taking profit. Okay. So that's a lot that I just went through. But my thought process here is we're going to get the laser pointer out. My thought process is we get the break of the downtrend and then we get the hold of the downtrend and then the break of this next downtrend in my eyes often lines up with a confirmation that we were able to hold. So then you can get the next leg up. Now notice how that next leg up also respects that support area, testing it into 7 in the morning. So what I need to really pay attention to are the holds of these areas instead of the breaks of the downtrend. I think that's going to add to my profitability by an enormous factor. Enormous factor. There's a lot to take away from this chart. Like ALUR was a very beautiful one to study, especially how later on in the day it ends up holding that 10 EMA on the 5 perfectly. I mean, all amazing, amazing, amazing areas to kind of look at on that longer time frame chart. So I think what I really need to start doing is paying attention to the support, not the breakout, which is going to help me land the breakout. And at the same time, zooming out, because that's exactly what I needed to do. I needed to zoom out for the bigger move. If I was paying attention more to a 5-minute chart here, I would have held through that 2-cent dip below the 50 on the 1. I guarantee you I would have, you know? The 50 on the 1 doesn't exactly line up with the 10 EMA on the 5. So if I'm paying attention to the 10 EMA on the 5, I would like it wicked below by like a second for 2 cents below the 50 on the 1 and I cut. Mm. Infuriating. Infuriating. God. Now, I'm very glad and happy that I'm in the green today. I would have definitely handled today a lot worse if I was in the red, but regardless, ALUR made a very, very impressive move. Made a move all the way up to $20, then stupidly had an offer and right at market open. That's just dirty. And here you can kind of see my sell. So my sell again was a few like 2 cents below the 50 on the one, and I sold 30 seconds before that larger momentum. So if I'm keeping it that tight, like I really need to pay attention to that 7 a.m. volume. I really need to pay attention to that. Like I know mentally that the 7 a.m. volume can definitely start stepping in, and oftentimes it doesn't start stepping in until 7:01 sometimes. So it's like mentally I'm very very aware of these. Now what we've also seen sometimes is price rejecting and getting a 7 a.m. volume dump. But this stock was trading so close to supports at 7 a.m. It would have had to do a lot of fighting to do that. Normally, what you can sometimes see is price pulling back to the supports on the 7 a.m. volume dump. This was not this setup was not that. It really wasn't. So I don't know why I was so extra scared of that. Now another stock that I called out to the team was ELAB. This was another impressive winner today. Very, very nice winner. Again, I didn't really trade it, but I was just calling it out to the team. But what we have here is a breakthrough 324. 324 is actually from playing it a previous time. I think the real break would have been like 323 or 322, but I wanted to use 324 because it was being respected a lot within this area. So right here we have a nice a pullback that's holding above the 10 EMA on the one, and then we just simply play this break right here, and then you're getting in here, taking some profit off the table into that first profit taking area, and then holding right here, next leg up, the break of this next downtrend placed from here. The break right here is the confirmation that we were able to hold strong in the first place, and then boom, we get the next extension higher. So very, very nice move to study. This was like a very nice percentage mover, like 30, 40%. Then notice how the 10 EMA on the 5 holds later on, leading to the next leg up. So very beautiful ones to study. I've been thinking about my execution on ALUR a lot over the weekend. And I think the biggest key takeaway here is I need to put more emphasis on price when it's holding that downtrend. I really need to put more emphasis on the hold, not the break. Because, like, for example, this break right here is kind of the confirmation that we held in a strong way down here. Then the break of this next downtrend is the confirmation that we kind of held right there. But those are the areas I need to pay attention to, not when the break right here, because like playing the break of the next downtrend often leads to a lot of false breaks. Example A, that was this break right here, a false break. So like, and another thing to kind of pay attention to is that's how far price it was extended from the 10 EMA on the 5. When price climbed back up and price was able to find support off of that area, that's when we get that next leg up. So again, I need to be paying a lot more attention to the supports in this case, not the false little breaks right here. Now, another reason why I tried to get in right there is because we had this downtrend, and I thought that the price was going to pull back right here. So I thought the pullback right here allowed me to add in a new downtrend right here. So I had a new downtrend basically placed like that, from that candle to that high. And I was thinking, we got a break right here, which would be the confirmation that we held right there. Not necessarily because it would be too early for price to break here because of just simply where the 10 EMA and the 5 is. So a lot of stuff to study, especially right here. I'm very disappointed on ALUR. It was such a beautiful move, and my execution was just like 30 seconds off. Quite literally, it was 30 seconds off. I mean, look at that. I'm cutting my losses 30 seconds before 7 a.m. Like, why was I scared of the 7 a.m. volume dump on this one? It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. Unfortunate team. Unfortunate team. Well, I'm looking forward to the next full week of trading. Some other key things to pay attention to. On Thursday and Friday, we are going to have the Fed meeting. So, a very important time for us to kind of pay attention to what Jerome Powell says and what the Fed decides. I think I would have to assume most of this stuff is kind of priced in. I don't see interest rates changing. But depending on what the Fed decides to say, if they say something very bullish, we might see a very nice rally into the end of the week. Now, we also know that tomorrow is going to be Money Monday. So, regardless, let's approach tomorrow cautious but optimistic, especially after seeing some very nice percentage movers in our small cap world. Now, one other thing to mention, DXF, this one made a really nice rally into market close on Friday, made a rally from $6 all the way up to $49. Absolutely insane. A lot of money stepped in on this one. Now, at the same time, it's a micro floater. We know it can move fast, but it was trading on like low volume because it was just halting the entire time. This is not tradable action. So I don't want people saying, oh, it went up 1100%. We have to trade it. No, absolutely. It's a halt fest. It's so difficult to trade. God, no. There's no opportunity to trade this. But seeing this type of action gives me great optimism into Monday, which is going to be January 27th. All right, let's get right into it and let's have a great day trading tomorrow. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Safe trading, y'all.